Hello everybody and welcome back to Storytime with Nixxiom, where I tell you cool and exciting stories from World of Warcraft and my time playing it, and it's really dope and you like it. I know that there's probably a lot of you that also love dungeons just as much as I do, and you're probably pretty happy that they're getting a lot of love in Legion. But today, we're not talking about Legion dungeons and all that hoo-ha. No, we're talking about my first ever experience inside of a dungeon in World of Warcraft. And it was quite a doozy. So, put on your rose-tinted goggles because we're going back to the past. 'Twas a long time ago, back in Vanilla WoW, and I was playing my undead mage. And if I'm not mistaken, this story takes place just a little bit prior to my PvP story video, so go check that one out. But anyway, 'twas a long time ago, back in Vanilla WoW, and I was playing my undead mage, and I was walking through the Barrens. And suddenly, in the general chat, the dreaded Barrens general chat was not a Chuck Norris joke, but an invitation. Someone said, looking for one more for Shadowfang Keep, preferably a mage. I was a mage. Now, I had no idea what Shadowfang Keep was. I had heard about these things called dungeons in World of Warcraft, but I didn't exactly know how to do dungeons. I didn't know if they were like, you know, like you had to, go to like a city and like queue up for them, kind of like how you had to do that for Battlegrounds back in the day, if you guys remember. I didn't know. I didn't know how to get to them. I didn't know how to do them. And I didn't exactly know what Shadowfang Keep was, but I was pretty sure they were talking about a dungeon. Well, I guess I just grew some balls that day, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of walking around by myself and just grouping up with people, like, and doing quests. I think I'm ready to do a dungeon. And so I whispered the guy, and I said, hey, I'll help you out. I'm this level. Is that high enough level? Don't remember what level I was. But he said, oh, yeah, you're fine. You're good. So I get in a group with these people, and I remember that we had a warrior. He was tanking. We had a shaman. We had, I think, another shaman as a healer, yes. Then there was me, and then there was a hunter. Yes, that's it. I remember. I still remember, even to this day. And we're all together, and we're talking, and everyone's like, okay, meet at Shadowfang Keep, go to the entrance. And I have no idea where the entrance to Shadowfang Keep is, so I kind of quietly whispered to the group leader, the guy that invited me, and I was like, where's the entrance to Shadowfang Keep? So he tells me, he says, oh, it's in Silverpine Forest, go to Silverpine Forest, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, great, Silverpine Forest. So, fly over to frickin' Orgrimmar, get in the Zeppelin, go to the Undercity, fly to the Spelcher, or whatever it's called, whatever, that town in Silverpine Forest, the Forsaken Town, and I go up to the castle that is Shadowfang Keep. Now, I had quested in Silverpine Forest before, but I had never seen Shadowfang Keep because my view distance was so low because my computer was a piece of garbage back then. So as soon as I walked up this hill that I had never gone up before, and I saw that castle across the drawbridge, I was like, wow, we're gonna go into this freaking castle. This is so cool. So we go on in, and immediately I am greeted to probably, in my opinion, Shadowfang Keep next to Strathholm. No, not Strathholm. Scholomance. Next to Scholomance, Shadowfang Keep is probably my favorite dungeon in World of Warcraft, but Scholomance will always be number one, and there are reasons why, and maybe I'll tell you guys that story some other day. So anyway, we're in Shadowfang Keep, and oh my goodness, there are Worgen walking around, ghosts walking around, all sorts of crap walking around. It was incredible. And let me tell you guys one thing. For those of you that played back then, and I know there's tons of you, dude, Sons of Arugal that wandered around Silverpine Forest. There's a reason why I quested for 3 seconds in Silverpine Forest and then ran my ass to the Barrens. Sons of Arugal. Those guys were terrifying, and now there were tons of them. I was gonna fight an army of them. I was intimidated. I was scared. I had never done a dungeon before. I had no idea what to do, so whatever. So we just start. We begin. We're killing the ghouls, or the Worgen. It's been so long. I think it was like some Worgen to start. Now it's ghouls, but we're killing the Worgen and we're making our way up the stairs and everything. And you know, we get to the first boss and we kill him, and it was like the blood was pumping. The blood was pumping. I was so nervous because I had heard so much about dungeons and how, like, only the best players do dungeons. And the dungeons were like these crazy, like, challenges and whatnot. But so far, everything was good. I mean, like, we were killing stuff. We were progressing nicely. And we were fine. And I started to get really comfortable. And I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. This is all right. And for those of you that remember, eventually, in SFK, there is a room. It's the room with like the hay and like the little like stalls or whatever. It's the room that had a bunch of Sons of Arugal in it and a bunch of wolves. Now, this moment is when I got hit like a truck, because in this room, there were mobs that could be crowd controlled. And that needed to be crowd controlled. We go into this room and we're just pulling, you know, we're not really marking anything, everything's fine. And we go into this room, we pull like, I don't even know how many guys there were. There was enough guys that when we pulled, they just killed us all instantly. Killed us all. And that is when the group leader said the most terrifying thing in the party chat. He said, "Mage, you're gonna have to CC." What the fuck does CC mean? So I whisper him, and I say, what are you talking about? Like, what do you want me to do? So he tells me that he wants me to polymorph one of the wolves, and he's gonna mark it with moon. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's fine, I can do that. And he just says, keep it polymorphed. And so, all right. So we run back to that location, and we pull the mobs. We pull them again, and I polymorph the mooned mob, right? The mooned mob. the mob marked as moon. And we died. We wiped again. We didn't get to kill a single one of the mobs because there were just so many. There were so many in that one spot. And this time when we died, the party leader said to the group, we're gonna need to do more than just sheep. And so it was like I was in a math class. Let me explain to you what we did, the plan that we made to actually get past this pull, right? So here's the plan. But first, let me just say two things. Number one, this is Shadowfang Keep. Shadowfang Keep. This is like the second dungeon you probably did as a Horde player. And number two, it was not a hunter in our group, it was a warlock. I just remembered that. Warlock, not hunter. So here's the plan. The warlock is going to summon a Voidwalker, and he is going to make his Voidwalker tank one of the mobs. I am going to sheep one of the mobs. And not only am I going to sheep one of the mobs, I am going to kite another mob, which he explained to me is pretty much where I frost bolt it and I frost nova it, and I kind of, I kite it around, so it's not attacking the group, it's just chasing me, okay? The shaman in our group, and only old school players will remember this, the shaman is going to off-tank. He is going to taunt this mob over here with his taunt totem. No, he was gonna taunt this mob over here, and he was gonna put down a taunt totem so that when the warrior pulled the remaining mobs, some of them would attack the taunt totem, one would be attacking the shaman, and the others would be attacking the warrior, while me and the warlock are CCing and kiting and all that good stuff. That is the plan to get past this frickin' pack. And you know what? Despite all that, didn't work. We managed to kill one of the mobs. We killed one, and then we all died. But on the second try, however, because one mob was dead, it was much easier, and we were able to get past it. Now let me say something. Let me say something about that moment. That was probably one of the coolest moments for me in World of Warcraft history, all my time playing it. Because it was that moment where I felt like I went from like a noob to like a pro. Because like I kept that one dude polymorphed, and I was running around, and I was kiting this one dude, like this one mob, and this pull lasted for like, you know, it's not that long, it's just, you know, your basic average pull. It only lasted for about a minute, you know, the whole fight. But man, it was a minute where I just felt like a badass. Like, it was so cool. And I just loved the fact that everybody had something to do. The healer had something to do, I had responsibilities, the warlock had responsibilities, the shaman, the warrior, everyone was like showing the uniqueness of their class and what their class was capable of and how the classes can work together in a dungeon. It blew my mind. Because if you guys watched my World of Warcraft story video a long time ago, like the one that's called My World of Warcraft Story, I had never played a game like this before. Never. So this blew my mind. I was like, this is incredible. This is the best game I've ever played. It was amazing. So we progressed through the dungeon even further. Luckily, there was no real need for crowd control after that because, you know, most of the stuff were just like, you know, just a couple of Sons of Arugal. We could, you know, deal with them no problem. Or ghosts, and you can't CC ghosts. So we're making our way through the dungeon, we're killing ghosts, we're killing Worgen, and it's just like that one spot was like super hard, but then everything else was, you know, kind of back to normal, pretty easy. And then eventually we reached Arugal himself, the frickin' mage at the end of the keep. And we fight him, and I think if I remember correctly, we were fighting him and the warrior died. Yeah, the warrior, he died during the fight. And so when he died, the shaman just went like, whoop, put down a little taunt totem, huh, huh. You know, he's like wailing on Arugal. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die. Nah, we were fine. But we kill Arugal, the friggin' warrior died, but who cares, you know? And the shaman, everyone was like, good job, shaman, like, yeah, good job, off tank. And he was like, haha, zug zug. It was an orc. But it was so cool. And the best part is at the end, Arugal frickin' dropped that staff, that blue staff. Don't remember what it's called. I don't know if it was called the Staff of Arugal. I don't think so. But that staff that he drops, and he dropped that shit. And I won it. I won the staff. And it was incredible. I mean, to go through that whole process of the dungeon, and for those of you that didn't play back in the day, dungeons took a long time to do. I mean, they were not something you finished in 10 minutes. I mean, we were probably in there for like an hour and a half or more. I mean, I don't even know. But to go through that entire dungeon and then to win that staff at the end, it was worth it. It was worth being told by my mom and dad, like, go to bed, go to bed. And I'm arguing with them through the door saying, just 10 more minutes, like just 10 more minutes, I'm almost done. I mean, it was completely worth it. I loved it. And for me, nothing compared to that feeling. That illusion where I felt that I went from like a complete moron in the game to like a pro level player with my CC skills and my group tactics and whatnot. It was so cool. My chair is noisy. And you know, and truth be told, I do miss that sort of dungeon format. I do miss the crowd controlling. Like, I do miss everybody has a really unique responsibility and can really shine in certain areas with their class. I miss that. And guys, that was my first dungeon experience in World of Warcraft. It was terrifying, I was uncomfortable, I needed an adult, but you know what? I did it, and it was awesome.